Good day and welcome. You're watching St. Martin News Desk, where we bring you the latest and most important stories around the island and beyond. With your anchor crew, Alston Lawrence, Glenda York, Tiziana Hart, and Mizzy with the Sunshine Report. This broadcast is brought to you by TV15 and proudly produced by Great Bay Media Studios in Phillipsburg, St. Martin. And now, let's jump straight into today's top headlines.
Wanted notice issued in Alligator investigation. The Public Prosecutor's Office and the police force have issued a wanted notice in the ongoing Alligator investigation into the double murder that took place on St. Martin on March 2nd, 2026. 2 people were killed in the shooting: Damian Sylvester, originally from Trinidad and Tobago, and Denisha Delancey from the United States. Authorities say the investigation indicates that Sylvester was the intended target in what they describe as a cold-blooded killing. Delancey, according to investigators, appears to have been in the wrong place at the wrong time. One suspect is currently in pre-trial detention on charges of complicity in the murders. However, the suspected shooter remains at large. He has been identified as Brent Dane Danglade, born March 25, 1977 in Trinidad and Tobago. Authorities say he later changed his name to John Dong Emmanuel. Investigators say the suspect is known to change his appearance and has an elongated tattoo on the inside of his right forearm. The prosecutor's office says he is considered armed and dangerous. The public is urged not to approach him but to contact police immediately at 542-2222, the anonymous tip line, 9300, or the usual emergency numbers. Prison stabbing under investigation. The Ministry of Justice has confirmed a stabbing incident at the Point Blanche prison involving 2 inmates. According to the ministry, the incident happened earlier yesterday and is currently understood to have been an isolated altercation between the 2 individuals. Prison staff responded immediately and were able to intervene. No staff members were injured. Preliminary information suggests the altercation may have been linked to tensions between the inmates connected to an ongoing criminal matter. During the incident, 1 inmate sustained stab injuries and was transported to the hospital for medical treatment. The inmate is expected to remain hospitalized for continued care and monitoring. Authorities are continuing their investigation into the incident, while the Ministry of Justice says it is closely monitoring the situation. Further updates will be provided where appropriate. Prime Minister questions GEBE fuel increase. Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Luc Mercelina is calling for urgent clarification from NV GEBE after the company announced an increase in the fuel clause for May 2026. The fuel clause has moved from 36 cents per kilowatt hour in April to 45 cents per kilowatt hour in May. GEBE says the increase is tied to global fuel price fluctuations and geopolitical tensions affecting the cost of generating electricity. In a letter to GEBE's Supervisory Board and Management, the Prime Minister acknowledged those global pressures but said he is seriously concerned about the growing financial burden on the people of St. Martin. Mercelina said many households are already facing rising living expenses and government has been advocating for relief measures to protect consumers, especially seniors, vulnerable families and working households. He also questioned the timing of GEBE's announcement, which was issued on Mother's Day, saying it understandably increased public frustration. The Prime Minister is now asking GEBE to explain the factors behind the increase, whether mitigation measures were explored, the status of consumer relief plans, and how the company intends to accelerate renewable and alternative energy solutions. Mercelina says the public deserves transparency stability, and reassurance as St. Martin works toward reducing its dependence on imported fuel.
Hello, my people. My name is Glenda York of Sit, Sip and Chat and Moms in Paradise podcast. You can find us on TV15 St. Martin, TVC St. Kitts, and on YouTube. Reporting from Great Bay Media Studios in St. Martin, your NEWSDESK feature story is coming up. But first, here is Mizzy with the Sunshine Report.
Hey there, it's Mizzy with the Sunshine Report, straight out of Sunshine City, St. Martin, bringing you the warmth and the sunshine you need to kickstart your day. So let's dive into today's forecast and see how the skies are treating us.
You could talk to your family, talk to your friends. Affordability and convenience, community connection, that makes sense. Reliability with experience, hey. For every love, every adventure, number one provider, they got ya. We tell them your data is always on. You can opt out whenever you want. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want the road. Control my data, yeah, yeah, yeah. Always connected every time, everywhere. Money low, but I never fair. I know, tell them is there. Connectivity, that's what I like. Flexibility, that's what I like. Reliability, that's what I like. Tell them, sign me up for life. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Come tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to go. Come tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to road.
Stay connected to the best of local and Caribbean content anywhere, anytime with the TVC Plus app, the official app of TVC Channel 40. With the TVC Plus app, you can watch TVC Channel 40 live, catch every episode of your favorite shows on demand, watch exclusive pay-per-view content, listen to Voice of the Caribbean radio, and watch and read SKN Newsline. The TVC Plus app is available on all your devices. On the Google Play Store, search TVC and the plus sign. In the Apple App Store, type the words TVC Plus. And we're also available on the Amazon App Store for Fire TV and Fire Stick devices. Search the words TVC Plus. Download today and take TVC Channel 40 wherever you go.
All right, don't miss NEWSDESK. Weekdays at 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. on TVC. St. Kitts to the world, now streaming everywhere. Mercelina and Jetten discuss kingdom cooperation. Prime Minister Dr. Luc Mercelina held a high-level meeting on Saturday with Dutch Prime Minister Rob Jetten, focused on strengthening cooperation within the kingdom and addressing issues affecting St. Martin's long-term resilience. The discussions covered the trust fund, the country package, sustainable waste management, climate change, justice cooperation, renewable energy, healthcare, education, and economic resilience. Prime Minister Mercelina said cooperation must deliver lasting results for the people of St. Martin. He also stressed that St. Martin should be treated not only as a stakeholder within the kingdom, but as a co-owner, especially during uncertain geopolitical times. Prime Minister Jetten said he was impressed by the resilience and determination of the people of St. Martin, noting the progress made since Hurricanes Irma and Maria. He also emphasized working together in the kingdom on the basis of equality and respect. A key topic was the proposed extension of the trust fund for the emergency debris management project, including the landfill and long-term waste management challenges. The meeting ended on a positive note, with both prime ministers reaffirming their commitment to continued cooperation and practical results. Princess Juliana International Airport launches refreshed website. The airport has launched a refreshed website experience aimed at making online information easier to access for passengers, visitors, and stakeholders. The updated platform features a more modern design, improved navigation, updated content, and stronger visuals that reflect the airport's role as a major gateway to the Caribbean. Under the airport's tagline, "Surrounded by water, connected by air," the new website is designed to support better travel planning and communication. New features include a dedicated airline page with direct contact information, an overview of surrounding islands accessible through St. Martin, a before you fly section for arriving and departing passengers, an updated careers page, and a full overview of airport concessionaries. The site also includes direct links to the tourism offices on both sides of the island, a digital sponsorship request feature, and a section for airport events, updates, and announcements. Princess Juliana International Airport says the website will now serve as its official digital communication platform, where press releases, public statements, and airport updates will be published. The refreshed website is available at SXMairport.com. Advanced drone training set for the EOC. Bureau of Telecommunications and Post, in collaboration with the Office of Disaster Management, will host an advanced drone training from May 18th to May 20th at the St. Martin Fire Department. The training is designed for members of the Emergency Operations Center and Emergency Support Function groups who are directly involved in disaster response and recovery. It follows a successful drone training held in 2025, after which several emergency service members reportedly acquired their own drones and began using them for specialized missions. This year's training will include both theory and hands-on practice. Participants will cover aviation rules, operational guidelines, safety protocols, responsible drone use, and simulated emergency mission scenarios. The goal is to ensure St. Martin has enough certified drone operators to support critical operations such as search and rescue, emergency mapping, payload delivery, building assessments, and security surveillance during and after disasters. BTP Director Julianne Hoover said drone technology is becoming an important tool for emergency response and that training local operators strengthens national resilience. BTP also thanked Fire Chief and National Disaster Coordinator Clive Richardson and the Office of Disaster Management for supporting the initiative.
When we come back, we go to our in-depth feature of the day, exploring one of the island's most thought-provoking topics. That's just ahead. Stay tuned.
You know, we all talk about having rights. And yeah, we do.
We have the right to be safe,
the right to learn and get an education,
the right to speak up and be heard,
the right to dream big and build our future.
But listen, rights don't stand alone.
We also have responsibilities.
Real talk, if we want respect, we gotta give respect too.
St. Martin is our home.
So let's protect it. Keep our beaches clean, our streets clean, and show love to nature.
Healthy island, healthy future.
Our parents and guardians do a lot for us.
Let's show respect, talk to them, and listen, even when it's hard.
School prepares us for life.
So we show up, we stay focused, and we put in effort.
We want opportunities, so we work for them.
We are part of this community, every village, every culture, every neighborhood.
Let's be kind, positive, and supportive.
A stronger community starts with us.
And most importantly, we are responsible for ourselves.
We make healthy choices for our mind and body.
We believe in our goals and our voice and our future.
Our rights give us power, our responsibilities make us leaders. Together we rise.
The Convention of the Rights of the Child isn't just a policy, it's protection and responsibility. When our children learn their rights, they are better prepared to take on their responsibility. This public service announcement is brought to you by the Department of Youth.
Let's put everything on the table. People always give their opinion, and you can either take it or crunch it. Let them judge. We give in to the most irresistible flavor. We devour every nugget that falls in our hands, especially when it's our crunchy fried chicken. And let the crumbs fly if needed. Let them keep judging. We'll keep indulging. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
You could talk to your family, talk to your friends. Affordability and convenience. Community connection, that makes sense. Reliability with experience. Hey, for every laugh, every adventure. Number one provider, they got ya. We tell them your data is always on. You can opt out whenever you want. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want the road. Control my data, yeah, yeah, yeah. Always connected every time, everywhere. Money low, but I never fair. I know, tell them is there. Connectivity, that's what I like. Flexibility, that's what I like. Reliability, that's what I like. Tell them, sign me up for life. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Come tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to go. Come tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to road.
Before we wrap up, we take a moment each day to check in with our neighbors across the region. There's always a story worth paying attention to. Here's today's regional headline.
In our regional story, Dominica Airport project faces arbitration questions. Dominica's major international airport project is facing new questions after MMC Development Limited initiated formal arbitration proceedings against the government of Dominica. The project is one of the largest infrastructure developments in the Eastern Caribbean and is expected to become a major economic driver for Dominica by improving air access, boosting tourism, supporting trade, and opening new investment opportunities. According to Caribbean News Global, the arbitration has raised concerns over whether the dispute could affect the construction timeline or, in the worst case, lead to a suspension of works. MMC Development's project director Cal Murad reportedly described suspension as the gravest possible outcome while saying the company hopes for an amicable resolution. The airport agreement was signed in 2021 between the government of Dominica and Montreal Management Company with funding tied to Dominica's Citizenship by Investment program. China Railway No. 5 Engineering Group was awarded the construction contract for the project, which is estimated at around 1.4 billion Eastern Caribbean dollars. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has previously said the airport remains on schedule for completion in 2027 and is intended to transform Dominica's economy. For now, construction progress, financing, contract obligations, and arbitration confidentiality are all part of the uncertainty surrounding the project. The wider concern for the region is clear. When major national infrastructure depends on complex financing and construction agreements, transparency and sound management become just as important as the project itself.
Welcome back. Each day, we take a moment to go beyond the headlines and look deeper into the issues, people, and conversations shaping life here on St. Martin. Welcome to today's NEWSDESK feature.
The garbage problem in St. Martin is not just an eyesore anymore. It is becoming a question of public health, tourism protection, and national responsibility. That is the central warning in a new commentary by environmental advocate Tatsia Bervoots, who argues that St. Martin should look carefully at a recent international health scare connected to the MV Hondias cruise vessel. That vessel became the center of attention after a cluster of Andes hantavirus cases was linked to passengers who had traveled in South America. International reports say several cases were confirmed and multiple deaths were reported, including a Dutch couple believed to have been exposed before boarding the ship. Health authorities have said hantaviruses are normally linked to infected rodents, especially contact with their urine, drop-ins, and saliva. Now, let's be clear. There is no hantavirus outbreak in St. Martin. That is not the claim, but the concern is the lesson. Because the reported source of exposure in the Hondias case was linked by investigators to a rat-infested landfill area near Ushuaia, Argentina, where visitors had gone bird watching. That is the part Bervoot says St. Martin should not ignore. A garbage site became an environment where rodents could thrive. Visitors entered that environment and a health crisis followed. For St. Martin, the comparison is not exact, but the warning is relevant. The island has been dealing with visible garbage pileups in communities like Colby and other areas, while disputes over waste collection contracts have played out publicly. At the same time, the landfill continues to raise long-standing concerns about management, safety, and environmental pressure. And when garbage is not handled properly, it does more than look bad. It attracts rodents, it affects drainage, it increases odors and pests, it creates health risk for residents, workers, and visitors. Closer to home, one of the more familiar concerns is leptospirosis. Unlike hantavirus, leptospirosis is regularly discussed in Caribbean public health settings. It is commonly associated with water or soil contaminated by urine from infected animals, including rodents. Research on the Caribbean has described leptospirosis as a significant human and animal health risk in the region, requiring a coordinated One Health approach involving public health, animal health, sanitation, and environmental management. This matters even more in a region shaped by heavy rainfall, flooding, hurricanes, and poor drainage. After major rain events, rodents can be displaced into homes, businesses, and food areas. Standing water and waste can then increase exposure risk, especially for sanitation workers, cleanup crews, and residents living near affected areas. So the issue is not whether St. Martin has an outbreak. The issue is whether the conditions that increase public health risk are being taken seriously enough. And for a tourism-dependent country, the question becomes even bigger. St. Martin welcomes cruise passengers, stayover visitors, and regional travelers every week. Tourism depends heavily on confidence, cleanliness, safety, and perception. Visitors may come for beaches and entertainment, but what they experience on the ground includes roadsides, public spaces, neighborhoods, drains, and waste collection. That means sanitation is not separate from tourism. It is part of the tourism product. A destination cannot market beauty while normalizing garbage overflow. It cannot depend on cruise traffic while allowing waste systems to remain fragile. And it cannot wait for a health scare before treating landfill management and garbage collection as national priorities. Bervoot's argument is not an attack on the cruise industry. In fact, cruise tourism remains one of the pillars of the economy. The point is that protecting tourism also means protecting the environment and public health systems that support it. Regular waste collection, proper landfill management, enforcement against illegal dumping, drainage maintenance, and long-term investment in modern waste systems are not optional extras. They are basic infrastructure for a country that depends on being clean, safe, and attractive. The challenge now is moving beyond emergency cleanups and public frustration. St. Martin needs a serious waste strategy that connects sanitation to health, tourism, climate resilience, and community well-being. Because garbage is never just garbage. It is a signal of how a country manages risk, how it protects residents, how it treats its environment, and how ready it is for the next public health challenge. A landfill at the end of the world may have triggered this warning, but the lesson lands right here at home. If St. Martin wants to protect its people, its visitors, and its economy, then the garbage crisis cannot be treated as another passing complaint. It has to be treated as a national priority.
That's all the time we have for today's edition of St. Martin News Desk. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, new episodes premiere every weekday at 8 a.m. on TV15 and across all our social media platforms. From all of us here at News Desk, we wish you a fantastic week ahead. Until next time, stay friendly, St. Martin.